morning, party people. This is Brett Jackson Boogie coming at you on my Happiness in Retirement channel. And today I'm going to talk about something that could be a little controversial, I guess. But it's the fact that I think the older we get, the more our circle of friends starts to shrink. And I think that's because we put priority on other things in life, especially time. We don't have time to jack around with that crap anymore. Like when we were young, you know, we used to put up with a lot of stuff just to have a big circle of friends, you know, party, you know, let's go do this, let's do that. You know, you got your circle of friends to go to the movies. You got your circle of friends to go to a party. You got your circle of friends to go to the mall, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think when you get older, your circle of friends starts to shrink because, again, ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and hopefully this is designed to help out the younger folks in life who, you know, might not have picked up on this yet. You don't need a lot of friends, but what you do need are good friends that you can count on. So I'll give you a couple examples. And I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but these are real life examples that happened to me, and I just had to cut them off because, again, I don't have time for that because my priorities have changed, you know, the older I get. So I will say the number one friend I have is my girlfriend. She and I get along swimmingly. We've been together 4 years and such, and there's nothing that's going to break us up, man. I've been married a couple of times. We're not getting married, but we're the closest thing to being married that you can get. We joke about that all the time. We're both in our 50s. There's really no reason to get married. We're not going to have kids. We don't have kids to take care of. Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, let's get to the stories because these are important. I'm going to give you 3 stories that kind of give you an idea of my breaking point. So there was this one fella. We'll call him Mr. D. And one day, he and I were pretty good friends, fishing buddies, and we hung out most weekends. You know, he had a medical issue. I was there for him. I went to the hospital with him and the whole deal. But one day in a bar, he starts talking about politics, and he's on one side of the fence and I'm on the other. He's super liberal and I'm super conservative. He starts saying, yeah, you're a member of the Proud Boys. Like, we're in the middle of a bar and we've only had 2 beers. I'm like, he can't be drunk. Yet he's acting like this. What is going on? And he starts yelling, yeah, you're a Proud Boy. You know, don't lie to me. You're a Proud Boy. You love Donald Trump and you're such a Proud Boy. I'm like, dude. He's referring to January 6th, the so-called insurrection at the Capitol. And I was nowhere near. I said, dude, I was nowhere near Washington, D.C. when that happened, and this is ridiculous. So I walked him out of the bar, walked him to his car, said adios, and that's the last time I've seen him. Ain't got time for that. Okay. Scenario number 2, this really happened. I had a friend, let's call him Mr. G, and we used to play Dungeons and Dragons every Tuesday night with a group of guys. Mr. G was kind of like, he kind of gets on everybody's nerves. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. He even talks about his manhood, how he's got the biggest manhood. Anyway, that's another story. Anyway, and so he was introduced to me by his ex-girlfriend who thinks he's crazy now and totally understands why they broke up. But, you know, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons and all he can do is criticize me for it. I mean, granted, I had never played Dungeons and Dragons. I wasn't quick-witted. I don't play a lot of role-playing games like these guys did. But I was interested because when I was a kid, I played Dungeons and Dragons a couple of times in high school. So I was interested. I wanted to learn and have fun. And I was having fun developing my character and going through the scenarios. And there would be examples where we would like get into a room and the dungeon master would say, okay, what are you going to do, Brett? And I would go, oh, let's open door number 2. And they would be like, oh, don't do that. And, you know, Mr. G basically told me I wasn't keeping up and I wasn't doing my studies and this and that. And, oh, by the way, you know, he's the smartest guy in the room. He's a chemical engineer, graduated in chemical engineering, which is hard to do, but you don't have to be so obnoxious. Anyway, didn't have time for that. Now I got all my Tuesday nights free, so they're yay for me. Scenario number 3. You know, as a lot of you know, I play music and I'm trying to get into bands, and I'm in a band right now where I get along with the folks really well, and we're doing great and moving along like champs. But one band I was in, there was this guy, we'll call him Mr. W. He was kind of an older, kind of negative kind of fella. You know, everything was negative. All his stories were kind of negative, and you know, he was a good drummer. He's a good singer. He knew a lot about music and sound, and I was getting along really well with him. But then, you know, he would say negative things like, you know, oh, we're not going to get paid for that gig. And I'm like, dude, you got to play gigs to get gigs. We got to get ourselves out there. So I was trying to set up gigs for the band. And then he would send out these crazy emails saying, you're not the leader of this band, Brett. You know, you need to dial it back. You're not so hot. You know, you're not so great on guitar either, and blah, blah, blah. And I just had enough of it. And I told the other band members, who I'm still friends with, by the way, yeah, I'm not going to put up with this. I'm out of here. And then, you know, word got back to me, well, I'm welcome to come back if I want. I shouldn't have my feelings hurt so easily. I need to develop a thick skin. Well, I came back, gave Mr. W a second chance, and we're in band rehearsal, and there's a problem with my guitar sound or whatever going into his switchboard. And he rips out my guitar cord and throws it at me and says, get this crap out of here. He used another explicative and just threw it at me. And I was like, dude, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm done. So ain't got time for that either. So the moral of the story is my circle of friends is getting smaller, but those friends are really meaningful to me. The friends that I have, I spend time with, I share things with, I go fishing with, I play guitar with, I'm in bands with. You know, we get along really well, and there's no negativity. You don't have time for negativity, folks. Don't do it. I don't care how old you are. Don't put up with people's crap. All right, so if you like my material, hit subscribe and go to the next video. Peace out, and thank you very much.